thinking like a manager, behaving like a manager, really feeling like you are a manager. Okay, and I think there are several types of managers. There are managers that go by the book, go by the rules, never deviate, and they're competent, but they're not really good. They don't really motivate their people because that's not something that's in their job description. Okay, so they get compliant people, and then they don't get much productivity. Um, Clearly, the managers that can think and think like managers are going to have an advantage. And um, part of that thinking, for instance, if you write up an employee, you have a process for that. So you don't think about redoing the process, but you want to think of how you would work through that process. What does that involve? And many times in management situation, you have to apply a new solution, or you have to apply a new twist on an old problem or an old strategy. And so not only do you have to think like a manager, you have to be, in essence, a bit creative. And I'm going to throw out some terms. There's thinking out of the box is one term. Lateral thinking is another. Parallel thinking is another. These are sort of different descriptions of the way people think that come up with new ideas, new approaches. So when you have a problem and it needs a new approach, don't be afraid to become creative with it. Now, I don't mean you develop some kind of crazy plan. It has to be based in reality. But you can come up with a novel plan. For instance, let's go back to the individual that is mildly harassing an employee that's mildly harassing the other employee. You may say, okay, if I write this up as a temporary thing in a certain way, I'm probably going to get the result that I want, which would be for that individual to stop the harassment. Also, if I write it up a certain way and they don't do that, then I'll realize that it's maybe a bigger problem for the individual and not just something they're sort of doing that they can control. So the creative nature would be, another example might be in looking at how the bonus structure is. Another example might be how praise and recognition is given to employees. So particularly in today's world business environment, it seems that the companies that are entrepreneurial, in other words, looking at growing and expanding and becoming more profitable, those companies are also creative. They think outside the box. They come up with new solutions. That's why about 25 miles where I live, a lot of the technology in the world is developed, because that's what they do. Now, in Silicon Valley, the creative aspect, the innovative aspect is put at a premium. Those are the best employees. You want to bring somebody into your company that can bring that kind of value. And what I would suggest to you is that is the highest value you can bring to the company. That creativity and that innovation that will allow the company to do new things and do them better, quicker, faster, better. How do you do that? Again, you practice with it. You're aware of certain ways of thinking, patterns of thinking. You understand yourself, and you're looking for that new solution. I think anytime you look for a new solution and you're trying to solve a problem with a new solution, that's a learning experience like we talked about yesterday. That's how you learn. If you have someone you can run the idea by, then that helps. Because to get an outside opinion always helps. I always like it when something that I'm not sure on. See if I know somebody that has done this before or maybe has an idea on this. In your instance, you may want to run it by the CEO if it's something that's really different. The small things I think you can go ahead and do because the CEO has delegated that to you.